Imagine this. You're opening your paycheck, expecting the usual amount, but it's quietly lighter than it should be. Not because of taxes or a bad economy, but because the world is getting warmer. A new study reveals that climate change has already shaved off about 12% from average American incomes since the year 2000. That's trillions of dollars vanished into thin air, or rather, into hotter air. It's not some distant threat. It's happening now, in subtle ways that affect us all. Let's step back and understand how we got here. For decades, experts have warned about the economic fallout from a changing climate. Back in 2009, the Environmental Protection Agency estimated modest losses to the U.S. economy, maybe 1 to 4% of GDP by the end of the century. But those were forward-looking guesses, focused on big events like storms or sea level rise. The 2014 report from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change echoed that, highlighting vulnerabilities in agriculture and infrastructure. Then came the 2018 National Climate Assessment, which drilled down on sector-specific damages. Think lower crop yields in the Midwest, or reduced worker efficiency in the heat. Yet, even those reports pegged income impacts at under 1% a year. What they missed was the slow, cumulative drag, the way persistent warming seeps into every corner of the economy over time. Fast forward to today, and a groundbreaking study published in January 2026 is changing the conversation. Economist Derek Lemoine from the University of Arizona analyzed data from every U.S. county going back to 1969. He looked at temperature records alongside income figures from the Bureau of Economic Analysis. What he found? Since 2000, rising temperatures have cut average incomes by around 12%. That's not from one-off disasters like hurricanes. The study deliberately leaves those out. Instead, it's the everyday warmth. Hotter days that sap productivity, disrupt farms, and crank up energy costs. Annually, it's about a 0.32% hit, but compounded over 2 decades, it adds up. And it's not uniform. The Great Plains and Midwest might see losses up to 15%, while northern states fare a bit better. Poorer counties? They could be down 20%. This isn't abstract. It's real money missing from paychecks. So how does a few extra degrees translate to smaller salaries? It starts with basic incentives. Warmer weather makes outdoor work tougher, so productivity dips. In construction or manufacturing, a hot day means slower output. Workers take more breaks, make more mistakes. Agriculture suffers too. Crops like corn and soy yield 10 to 15% less in exposed regions. Then there's energy. Homes and businesses crank up the air conditioning, driving up bills and straining grids. But here's the key twist. These effects don't stay local. Through trade flows, a productivity slump in Iowa raises food prices in California. Supply chains amplify the pain. 80 to 90% of the losses spread beyond the original spot. Demographics play a role as well. Older workers in rural areas are hit harder, and rising debt from higher costs weighs everyone down. Winners? Tech sectors or indoor services that dodge the heat. Losers? Farmers, builders, and low-income families who feel it most. This ripple effect doesn't stop at U.S. borders. Globally, a sluggish American economy means weaker demand for imports from places like Mexico or China. That could nudge up inflation worldwide by 0.5% or so. Markets feel it too. The dollar might soften by 1 to 2% a year if unchecked, stirring volatility in stocks tied to agriculture or energy. Supply chains shift as companies hunt for cooler spots, impacting tech and food flows. Energy demands climb, putting pressure on global oil markets. And geopolitically, a less robust US could alter alliances, with climate migration adding tension at borders. Bodies like the World Trade Organization might see more disputes over who bears the emission blame. Looking ahead, what might the future hold? In the next 6 to 12 months, with emissions holding steady, we could see annual losses creep up to 0.4 or 0.5%, especially if 2026 brings more heat waves. That might add $50 to $100 billion in hidden costs. Over the longer haul, 5 to 20 years, it depends on our path. In a high emissions scenario, cumulative hits could reach 20 to 30% by 2040, dragging GDP down 1 to 4% annually by century's end. But if we stick to mitigation efforts like the Paris Agreement, we might cap it at 5 to 10%. Risks abound. Tipping points like melting permafrost could accelerate things, or political backpedaling on green policies might slow progress. Wildcards? Breakthroughs in carbon capture or unexpected tech could turn the tide. Of course, not everyone sees it this way. Some skeptics argue the 12% figure overstates the case, pointing out adaptations like better air conditioning that blunt the impact. Earlier studies stuck to that 1% mark, questioning how much non-local effects really matter. Others tie wage stagnation more to corporate profits or policy choices than climate alone. In academic circles, debates swirl around the models. Should we include extreme events for even higher totals? Policy views split too. One side warns that green actions cost more than inaction, while others call for equity-focused fixes to help the hardest hit. The data leans towards significant drags, but it's clear this is a complex puzzle with room for discussion. As we wrap this up, it's evident that climate change isn't just an environmental story, it's an economic one, etched into our daily lives. The hidden costs are mounting, but awareness is the first step towards smarter choices. If this sparks your interest in decoding the bigger picture, consider subscribing to Macro Decoded for more insights like this. Thanks for joining us.